Afternoon, welcome. My name is Noel Curtis with N17 Holdings. Here this afternoon to give you a bit of an update on where the N17, N18 Gort to Tuam is and what our current progress is. I suppose a bit of background scheme information. The N17 and N18 originally was 3 schemes proposed by Gort or proposed by Galway County Council to Gort and brought through the planning process with them. The NRA then combined the 3 schemes into one PPP scheme, and it was tendered for in that manner. And the 3 schemes were the N18 or more to Gort, the N17 Galway to Tuam, and the Tuam bypass itself. Obviously, in the west of Ireland, it starts off in the southern section at Gort, joins on to the Gort-Crusheen scheme, which is already opened. There's a junction at Gort that travels in a northerly direction, bypassing the village of Kilcolgan, where there's a junction there at Kilternan. Continues north to the west of Athenry and to the east of Galway, where there will be a junction with the existing N6. Then heads on north from there, a junction with the N63 and the Roscommon Road at Annahill, and then eventually reaches Tuam 57 kilometres later and involves the bypass of Tuam itself. The scheme itself will be a non-toll PPP, so the road user will have no tolls to pay on the road. The contracting authority being the National Roads Authority, who have selected Direct Route Tuam Limited as the contractor to build the scheme. The scheme itself had a contract close last year in April, with the road opening in early 2018. Now, so the PPP schemes as they're coming about more recently with the NRA involve not only the design and construction, but also the maintenance period within the scheme. So the Direct Route hand over the project as a whole, including the maintenance of the scheme in 2043, which is a few years from here and now. Alongside, obviously, Direct Route, the funding for the scheme, as is with PPP schemes, comes from the European Investment Bank, and additional funding from Bank of Ireland, Societe Generale, and NACTIS. So NRA sort of are grouping, we'll say, traditionally schemes that have been pulled together through the planning processes, putting them into PPP schemes, making them larger infrastructure projects, and going down the PPP model of procurement. So who are Direct Route, you may ask? So Direct Route is a consortium that's been set up specifically for these PPP schemes. Because they're so large, there is an investment side to the scheme as well. The consortium goes about targeting design, build and operation of large NRA road schemes, and has since 2004 have been reasonably successful in winning schemes with the NRA. The first one in 2004 was the Rathcormac-Fermoy bypass, which is now in the operational phase. Similarly, the Limerick Tunnel, which was opened and is going through the operational phase as well. And now more recently, the N17 N18 PPP scheme, which is going through design and construction at the moment. Direct Route, obviously, I'm here with John Siskinson, and the Fermoy and Limerick and Tuam companies all have Lagan Construction, Stick and Robridge, as well as Strabag as shareholders within the consortium. And then along with the different funding partners for each of the different schemes. So just making that all into one diagram, the organisation of the N17 and N18, Direct Route are declined, NRA are declined, Direct Route are the PPP company, and then obviously the shareholders who are delivering the job on the ground. So Robridge are delivering the northern section, CISC, who I work for, are delivering the central section, and Lagan Construction are delivering the southern section. We all have got the same designers, which are a combination of Halco, Barry and ARC. So all the construction companies on the ground and designers are all Irish-based contractors, picking up on what Pat spoke about earlier on. With offices, designers have got offices in Castlebar, Galway, Dublin, and all the contractors then obviously are local as well, to offices in Galway, Limerick, and Dublin. So it's a local job, giving local employment to the people here. The key quantities on the scheme, sort of some big headline figures. The scheme as a whole has got 4.3 million cube of earthworks on the scheme. Of that, 1.8 million cube of rock is to be excavated along the scheme. Other big items, fencing, 150,000 metres, 150 kilometres of fencing along the scheme, seems a lot. 71 structures, 30,000 cube of structural concrete, and then with CBM 804 and blacktop all around the 200,000 cubic metre mark. So I suppose the idea of this slide is a large scheme. It will be the largest construction project in Ireland over the next forthcoming couple of years. It's on our doorstep, and while it's large and it's challenging for the different various aspects along the scheme, I suppose the key construction challenges that we foresee at this time is dealing with the peat around the Tuam end of the job. We'll say the topography of the job is such that the more northerly part of the scheme is more influenced by peat and bogland, and then how we deal with that from a design and construction viewpoint will obviously be a challenge, that the design is robust enough to be able to accommodate all the different settlements and different design criteria that we have on it. Construction then, the more southerly part of the scheme, especially at Gort, but comes up about just north of Athenry, where we have karst features within the limestone bedrock. So the more southerly you go in the scheme, the bedrock is at surface level. You're getting close to Clare. These karst features are within the red bedrock. So it's again about designing and construction of the scheme with enough robust design to allow for the features and anomalies that are within the bedrock for the scheme. Rathmorris interchange we talked about earlier on. The existing M6 Galway to Ballinasloe motorway is operational at the moment. We need to build a new 3-tier junction on that live road at the moment, as well as keeping the 2 lanes of traffic open in each direction throughout the scheme. So obviously a key challenge on how we sequence and program and deliver that section of the works. And then along with every major infrastructure scheme that is ever delivered in the country, how we impact on the local environment, the flora and the fauna, and in particular on this scheme, the impact we're going to have on water courses and drainage, and how we mitigate what impacts we do have is obviously key. And that'll be a key challenge for us on the construction of the scheme. The environmental challenges, talked about a bit earlier about the water quality and how we do with that. Lough Corrib is an SAC, and we cross the tributaries, the Abbott River and the Grange River, which feed into Lough Corrib. And our drainage design and our structures design and how we impact on those rivers, obviously key. How we deal with sediment on the site, and how we attenuate and do pollution control for the drainage on the scheme. Big effect for the scheme and how we manage that. Adjacent to a couple of other SACs, these are down at the southern end of the scheme, at Kilturn, Turlock and Cool Complex. And these particular microenvironments are areas where karst and limestone bedrock is very close to the surface. There's a particular microenvironment where there is woodland and peatland, which is quite close to it, and that whole interaction of flora and fauna makes it areas of outstanding beauty and special area conservations. Probably very unique across the whole of Europe. So in our scheme, in our design and our construction, it's how we mitigate any potential impacts we have on those, and our design taking cognizance of what is there on site. And then rare plants along the scheme. Just recently, in the last couple of months, we've done translocation of wood bitter vetch along the scheme, where the root alignment was going through an area where the plant was particularly active, and they were translocated in the dormant season, where the seeds were taken, the soil salvage was taken from the root alignment and put in other donor areas where it could grow unhindered by the construction project. Habitats along the scheme, which obviously we need to be cognizant of it as well. The rivers, otters, the lesser horseshoe bat, pine martens, all these particular, the flora and fauna of the scheme. There are different things that we need to be mindful of. Our design and our construction sequence and methodologies are all developed bearing in mind these environmental constraints. It's obviously within the construction industry, sometimes the environmental things get bad press, and maybe we shouldn't be doing bat underpasses. But really, at the end of the day, the environment is there for life. We need to build construction projects and be able to mitigate again what our impact has on these. And it's only right and proper that we're developing schemes looking after the wildlife and the fauna that will be there long after the scheme is open. Benefits of the scheme: estimated 410 direct jobs that will be created during the lifetime of the project, the construction phase, and then with the one in estimates for direct jobs created, there was 4 indirect jobs for every 10. So we're talking about over 500, nearly 600 jobs created over the lifetime of the scheme over the next 3 years, which is a big economic boost to the area, not only for direct provision, but all the support industries in the supply chain and the local supply chain that's within the area. Big boost for the area. Then the improved road network, which is obviously part of the Atlantic corridor, which will obviously aid and attract investment in the area. Improved quality of life in the regional towns. Like anybody who's got stuck in Galway of a morning or a Friday afternoon, it's no pretty picture sitting there in the car for half an hour. So that journey, maybe cut 20-30 minutes off the journey from Tuam heading south into Limerick. So there are major scheme benefits for the scheme. Let's talk a little bit now about the central section, which CISC are directly involved with. 20 kilometers or nearly 20 kilometers long, dual 2-lane motorway we talked about. 2 grade separated junctions along the scheme, one at Annahill, one at Rathmorrissey. The one at Rathmorrissey will be a 3-tier junction, allowing the N6 traffic to go unhindered onto the N17, N18. 22 major structures, number of overbridges, underbridges, railway bridge over the Dublin-Galway railway line, and different precast boxes. Where we are at the moment, as I said before, the contract closed last April. We've been doing a lot of design and planning for the scheme over the course of 2014, early 2015, where we are now. We're going to start construction work in April after the Easter holidays, when the weather in Galway gets better and the sun shines and the rain stops. So as I said, we started fencing, earthworks in April. Structures will start in the good weather for the summer as well, obviously in April. Both the earthworks and structures, about 2 years duration, finishing up in late 2016, early 2017. And then the surfacing and CBM contracts, part of the scheme, will start in earnest in summer of next year, all due for to finish the scheme late 2017 for the opening in early 2018. As said before, our investment in the area then will have the ongoing maintenance of the scheme. So it will be another 25 years later where this scheme will be still maintaining the road, salting, gritting, and all those operations, and renewal of the pavement along the scheme for the following 25 years before we hand back to the NRA in 2043. Thanks for your time, and take questions later. Martin.